Led in prayer by Congressman Carnahan. I'm going to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence for a couple people who were friends of the city and friends of a lot of us throughout all the years. Sam Green, who was a housing analyst, one of the first people I met after being elected alderman in the 6th Ward, and he was a true servant of the city and a true friend to a lot of us. And also the mother of Doug Mosley, Janet Mosley. So please join me in a moment of silent prayer for both of them. Also, one of our colleagues, Carol Howard, keep her in your memories and in your prayer, because she was hurt over the holidays, and we're hoping that she has a speedy recovery.
Good morning. It's good to be with you and your newest member, Alderwoman Hubbard. Please join me in a prayer this morning. Dear Lord, be with this group of elected officials who give their time and talent to this city and to the people they represent. Inspire them, guide them, and give them the wisdom to make this new year the best for the city they represent. Amen.
Tamika Hubbard, would you like to, Alderwoman-elect, would you like to approach the dais? Madam Clerk.
Alderman Joseph Vollmer of the Engrossment Rules and Resolutions Credentials Committee submitted the following report, which was read to the President of the Board, Aldermen and Alderwomen. The Committee of Engrossment Rules and Resolutions and Credentials have met and report that they have considered the qualifications of the following individual and find that she is qualified to hold the office of Alderwoman. Tamika Hubbard.
Alderman from the 10th, you're recognized on the report from Rules and Engrossments for the Alderwoman-elect.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board, after a tumultuous meeting with arduous research, we have come to the conclusion that everything is in good order. We make a motion that you adopt this motion.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 22nd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Judge, would you like to approach the dais with the Alderwoman-elect?
Thank you so very much. I am always very humbled to stand in this great chamber of law and justice among friends. I would be remiss before beginning if I did not thank all of the wonderful elected officials in this chamber who support and help the children at the Innovative Concept Academy. This indeed is a great day of celebration for Tamika Hubbard, Alderwoman-elect, for her family, friends, and of course, for the city of St. Louis. Tamika Hubbard, would you join me here so that I would have the pleasure of swearing you in as the Alderwoman of the 5th Ward. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tamika Hubbard.
Of the city of St. Louis.
Of the city of St. Louis.
In the state of Missouri.
In the state of Missouri.
Having been elected by qualified voters.
Having been elected by qualified voters.
Of the city of St. Louis.
Of the city of St. Louis.
To the position of member of the Board of Aldermen.
To the position of member of the Board of Aldermen.
From the 5th Ward.
From the 5th Ward.
Of the city of St. Louis.
Of the city of St. Louis.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I have all of the qualifications.
That I have all of the qualifications.
And I am not subject.
And I am not subject.
To any disqualifications.
To any disqualifications.
Named in the charter.
Named in the charter.
For the office or employment.
For the office or employment.
I am about to assume.
I am about to assume.
That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And this state.
And this state.
And the charter.
and the Charter,
the ordinances
the ordinances
of the City of St.
of the
Louis,
City of St. Louis,
that I will be influenced only by
that I will be influenced only by
the consideration of fitness
the consideration of fitness
in the appointment,
in the appointment,
promotion,
promotion,
demotion,
demotion,
suspension, or discharge
suspension, or discharge
of officers or employees,
of officers or employees,
that I will not expend
that I will not expend
nor authorize the expenditure of money
nor authorize the expenditure of money
otherwise than for adequate consideration
otherwise than for adequate consideration
and efficient service
and efficient service
of the city, and will faithfully discharge
of the city, and will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
or employment.
or employment.
And I always add, so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
One other piece of business before we let you go down and get for roll call and everything. I am honored to have known your family and worked with a number of them and flown all over this country working on projects and things with the Hubbards. You guys are indeed public servants in the highest order. I am honored to have an opportunity to work with you at the Board of Aldermen. And I think you're going to make a nice addition to the Board of Aldermen. I know your mother and father over there smiles as big as I've ever seen them smile. They're so proud to see another one of their kids go into the work of public service. So congratulations again, Tamika, and it gives me great honor to pin you with our official pin from the Board of Aldermen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Troop, Alderwoman Flowers, Alderman Bosley, Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Triplett, Alderwoman Young, Alderman Conway, Alderman Ortman, Alderman Vollmer, Alderman Villa, Alderman Arnowitz, Alderman Wessels, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Florida, Alderwoman Behringer, Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Kennedy, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Schmid, Alderman French, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderman Ogilvy, Alderman Cone, Alderman Williamson, Alderman Carter, Alderwoman Cruzen, President Reed, Alderwoman Flowers, Alderman Arnowitz, Alderman Wessels, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman French, Alderman Cone, Alderman Carter, 22 present.
Quorum being present, introduction of our guests. We will have Alderwoman from the 5th, Alderwoman Hubbard, introduction of honored guests. Would you like to take the mic and introduce any of your honored guests that are with us today?
First of all, I'd like to tell you all that I'm very honored to be a part and to serve, and I wouldn't be here without the help of the Most High and my family. And I'd like to make a special recognition to my father, Rodney Hubbard, my mother and the state rep of the 58th District, Penny Hubbard, my big sister, Daphne Garrett, my brother, Rontonio Hubbard, and of course, the person who paved the way for me, my brother, Rodney Hubbard. And all of these are voters and family members and constituents of the 5th Ward, and I'm forever indebted to them. Thank you.
Any further introductions? Introduction of our guests. Alderman from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I would like to have as my special honored guest, Mr. Ken Franklin, who is now the Deputy Democratic Director at the Board of Elections.
Any further introductions? Alderman from the 23rd.
Yes, I'd like to have as my special guest Tim Murray. He's the new representative executive board member of Local 1.
Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Happy New Year, first of all, and I'd like to have as my special guests the members of the AT&T family, Amron UE, former Alderperson Bernice King, the Hubbard family, and God bless you all.
Alderman from the 9th, even though last session I called you Alderman from the 29th. Alderman from the 9th. You didn't catch it, but I did.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to have for my honored guest today, Ron Auer. And boy, it sure does smell nice with all these roses over here. Yeah. I'm glad to see the seat filled, so thank you.
Alderman from the 22nd.
I want to thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Happy New Year, everyone. I'd like to have as my esteemed guest this morning, Miss State Representative Carla May with the 57th District.
Alderman from the 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. My honored guest today will be Aaron Henney. He's a resident of the 26th Ward and also over the Harambe Institute program and also the former comptroller, Vervis Jones. Thank you.
Any further introductions? Any further introductions? Alderman from the 10th, before we let you wrap us up, just like to welcome everybody back. It's going to be a busy session as usual, but it'll be short. Alderwoman from the 5th, as you get into this process of being an elected official, understand that sometimes people will vote for your bill, sometimes they'll, but you know, I like to say it's the most imperfect, perfect system that's available anywhere in the world. It allows an opportunity for each and every one of us to take a role in the process of making laws. So everybody out here has an equal voice, and we are indeed, lucky to have you joining us here today. Any further introductions? Alderman from the 10th, like to wrap us up.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. As we start the 2012 year, it is a very historic day. January 6th, in 1886, Mr. Samuel B. Morse sent the first Morse code telegraph message. And I am proud to have the recipient of that message here as my special guest, Mr. Fred Steffen.
Alderman from the 17th, you recognize on approval of the minutes.
Mr. President, members, I move that we accept the minutes from the December 2nd and December 9th meetings.
Moved by the Alderman from the 17th, seconded by the Alderman from the 22nd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in sections A, B, and C of the agenda and have been placed in all aldermen's mailboxes.
We'll dispense with line item 8. Would anyone like to take any bills off of any of our informal calendars? Would anyone like to take any bills off any of our informal calendars? We dispense with line items 9, through 11. First reading board bills.
Board Bill 244, sponsored by Alderman Bosley, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service authorizing the 2012 St. Louis Works and 50/50 Sidewalk Program citywide, containing the mayor's executive orders, contract advertising statutes, and a public work emergency clause. Board Bill 245, sponsored by Alderman Vollmer, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and the comptroller to execute upon receipt of
Some order.
and in consideration the sum of $15,000 and other good and valuable consideration, a quitclaim deed to remise, release, and forever quitclaim to Volpe Foods, certain city-owned property located in City Block 3998D, known as numbered as 5151 Northrop. That's the extent of our first readings.
Reference to committee.
To the Streets Committee, Board Bill 144, and to the Ways and Means 244, and to the Ways and Means Committee, Board Bill 245. That's the extent of reference to committees.
Second reading.
Following board bills were reported out of the Streets Committee, Board Bill 225, sponsored by Alderman Bosley, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service establishing a public works and improvement project for the design and construction of the traffic management enhancement project involving various traffic management improvements on the city arterials and the city's traffic operations center computer systems, containing a public work and emergency clause. Board Bill 237, sponsored by Alderman Williamson, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Street Commission to take all necessary actions to honorarily designate the 1200 block of Clarendon as Reverend John Watson Sr. Avenue. That's the extent of our second readings.
Dispense with line item 15, perfection consent calendar.
Board Bill 201, sponsored by Alderman Carter, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety on behalf of the Mayor to enter into and execute a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance to fund the 2011 Justice Assistance Grant Program and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 69, sponsored by Alderwoman Triplett, an ordinance authorizing the city by and through its Board of Public Service to enter into an agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the commission to remove and replace the Jefferson Avenue Bridge over Interstate 64 without cost to the city. Board Bill 182, sponsored by Alderman Rhodey, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel on Motard from Hickory to Rucker, a portion of the 15-foot wide east-west alley in City Block 2181 South, beginning at Motard and extending westwardly to a point. Board Bill 220, sponsored by Alderman Rhodey, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to vacate travel in Children's Place from Kings Highway eastwardly to a point in the city. Board Bill 227, sponsored by Alderman Troop, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Streets to temporarily close, barricade, or otherwise impede the flow of traffic at the northernmost east-west alley, bounded at Penrose Park and Penrose Street at Euclid, and the northernmost east-west alley bounded at Penrose Park and Penrose Street at Aubert. That's the extent of perfection consent.
Alderman from the 17th, you recognize on the motion for the perfection consent calendar.
Yes, Mr. President, and I move that we approve the perfection calendar.
Moved by the Alderman from the 17th. I entertain a second on that motion. Second. Seconded by the Alderman from the 12th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll dispense with line items 17 through 20. I move that we adopt our courtesy resolution calendar. Entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the Alderman from the 22nd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. First reading resolutions.
Resolution 276, sponsored by Alderwoman Cruzen and President Reed. The Board of Aldermen notes that the assessment and equalization maintenance plan prepared by the assessor is hereby approved as required by law.
Alderman from 28th, recognized on the first reading of resolution number 276.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move that we send Resolution 276 to the Ways and Means Committee.
Moved by the Alderman from the 28th. I entertain a second. Seconded by the Alderman from the 12th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please sign Resolution number 276 to Ways and Means.
So noted. Resolution 283, sponsored by Alderwoman Cruzen. The Board of Aldermen approves the 2012 Central West and North Special Business District budget.
Alderman from the 28th, you recognize on the first reading Resolution number 283.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for unanimous consent on Resolution 283.
It's moved by the Alderman from the 28th. I entertain a second on it. You're asking for unanimous consent. I'm moving too quick.
I request unanimous consent.
There you go. Please proceed, Alderman.
And I move for adoption of Resolution 283, which is the budget for 2012 for the Central West and North Special Business District.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 28th, seconded by the Alderman from the 20th. Any discussion? Any discussion? It's been moved. Any discussion, Alderman? It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution number 283. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's the extent of first reading of resolutions.
Second reading.
Resolution 132, sponsored by Alderman Carter. The Board of Aldermen Public Safety Committee does hereby approve the recommendations of the Public Safety Committee for the appropriation of crime prevention program funds for fiscal year 2012.
Alderman from the 27th, you're recognized on the report for
just
Resolution
a report, Mr. President.
132.
Yes, no pass, no nothing.
Just a report.
Just a report, just a quick synopsis of what we did, how we came to dispersing the dollars in the crime prevention programs throughout the city of St. Louis. I first sent the programs, all 40, to United Way, to a Kathy Gardner. Since United Way do this all the time and I want an outside agency to give us an overview, she did an excellent job. I got that back and I gave it to all my public committee people. Then I had another organization set up, which was consisted of the Slate, President Board of Aldermen, the 3 aldermen throughout the city of St. Louis, forestry or parks. They work with programs every year, after school programs, and Comptroller's office. What I wanted from that organization, I wanted them to give me the top 10 or 11 programs. And we scaled them, we rated them from a 1 to 10, 10 being the very best, 1 being the very worst. And they came out with those 10, or 11. We gave that to the committee members. Because I know reading 40 proposals, as thick as they were, I just wanted to make sure I know all the committee members did read them. I wanted to be very, very sure that we gave each and every one a fair chance of winning these dollars. Since we only had $790,000, we could not disperse to all 40 programs. So the committee, we had a meeting, the committee reduced the dollar amount down to $49,000 each, with the exception of the Board of Education, with their after-school program that got a little more, that totaled up to $790,000. And just as a note, the contracts have not been signed yet. What I wanted to do, since the monies every year seem to be reducing, I wanted to make sure that we come back in 6 months to evaluate the 11 programs. Because if they're not doing what they say they're doing, I'm going to take that money away and give it to the next organization. Now, there may be some small dollars left from the 2011, and any dollars left, I'm going to bring those other programs in, call another committee hearing, and then try to disperse those dollars to the few programs that we have. But I will note that some of the programs, just to make a note, you were putting too much in your administrative fees instead of putting it into the program itself. There was one, I'm not going to say the name of the organization, we only had $790,000. They wanted $595,000. When you know there's only $790,000, don't request something on that large of a scale. You're not going to get it. And all of them were good. I'm sending letters back. I'm going to work something up today to send them back to let them know their weaknesses. So next time they apply for these dollars, they'll have a better chance making a better proposal and competing for these dollars. And I'm hoping and praying that these dollars stay as they are or get a little more. Other than that, that was a report. I want to thank all of those that involved themselves. I think we did a very fair process. I think that taking it outside the city of St. Louis, giving it to an agency such as United Way was, in my opinion, a fair opportunity for all 40. The politics were pulled out of it. And that's the report, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. I also want to just congratulate you and the committee members. I've heard from a lot of businesses, even the ones that did not get the grants, that they really felt the process was fair and thought it was a great process. So congratulations and job well done. Let's give them a round of applause on that one. Great job, well done. Miscellaneous unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Tuesday, Ways and Means Committee meeting, 9 a.m. in the Leisure Room. Friday, full board meeting, 10 a.m. in the chambers. That's the extent of my announcements.
Any further announcements? Any further announcements? Alderman from the 17th, you recognize on the motion to excuse.
Mr. President, because of their necessary absence, I move that we excuse the alder people from the 2nd, 13th, 14th, 21st, and 25th wards.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 17th. I entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the Alderman from the 20th. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Alderman from the 22nd.
So board, I just had an announcement. I didn't get to the mic quick enough. I wanted to announce some celebrity birthdays this week. I wanted to honor Alderman Larry Arnowitz and Frank Williamson, whose birthday was January the 2nd.
Well, congratulations. Alderman from the 17th, you recognize on the motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn till our lucky day next Friday, January the 13th.
Moved by the Alderman from the 17th, seconded by the Alderman from the 8th. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.